My MA dissertation at the University of Madinah was entitled مقالات الجهم بن صفوان وأثرها في الفرق الإسلامية. The theological positions of somebody by the name of Jahm ibn Safwan, who died 127 Hijrah, so very early on, and his effects on Islamic sects and schisms, how he have impacted Islamic theology. As you're aware, dissertations in our part of the world are very deep, very dense. I spent 4 years studying an obscure figure. I wrote 850 pages in Arabic. It is published in 2 volumes. You can find it available still to this day in the marketplace. And I thought I know more about Jahm ibn Safwan than anybody in the world. Who would possibly know more than me? I spent 4 years studying this guy and wrote an entire dissertation, and it got top honors, awarded everything. My advisor loved it, published and whatnot. So I get accepted to Yale, and I walk in, 2005 was the year, I walk into their Sterling library. By the way, their Arabic collection was manifold, many times more larger than our collection in Medina, but that's a separate story altogether. And I said, what can these guys possibly know about Jahm ibn Safwan? So I did my search. This is my first week at Yale. I did my search here, and I found an article written before I was born in the 1960s by Richard M. Frank, a very well-known academic, Orientalist, they called him back in the day, entitled The Neoplatonism of Jahm ibn Safwan, written in 1968, before even I was born. And intrigued, I requested it. Within milliseconds, they have a system, you get it. And I remember reading through that article 3 times, not understanding anything of what he was trying to convey. And I remember thinking, this is a totally different world. I have an MA dissertation on this person, and this guy has written an article before I was born. He hasn't referenced many of my references. He has very little biographical information. I discovered a lot more stuff. But what he's writing about Neoplatonism, I hadn't studied it in Medina at the time. I had no idea what Neoplatonism was, much less how Jahm ibn Safwan is embodying it, much less how he's conveying it to, through his thought and whatnot. And I realized that there is a lot I still have to learn about things that I have no idea even what they are. And that was the beginning of a very, very long journey. So when I finished up at Yale, and I was going to start my career elsewhere, I decided on a whim to go back to the library and read Richard M. Frank's article on the Neoplatonism of Jahm ibn Safwan. 6 years have gone by since then, right? So I decided to read it again after all of those years. And alhamdulillah, I'm very happy to say that not only did I understand the entire article, I agreed with the basic premise. I found a number of small mistakes that I think he should have done. I had a lot more references that he totally missed out. And I had the notion and idea that one day I should write the exact same article, The Neoplatonism of Jahm ibn Safwan, Part 2 by Yasir Qadhi. I still haven't done that, but I really want to do that one day to show that this can be done, and somebody who can go through both systems and become better, inshaAllah ta'ala, for it. In the end, we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for ikhlas and tawfiq. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to guide us to be those role models of the past that we look up to be modern versions of them for our times. وَمَا تَوْفِيقِي إِلَّا بِاللَّهِ.
فيا ذلي ويا خجلي إذا ما قال لي ربي أما استحييته تعصيني ولا تخشى من العتب وتخفي الذنب عن خلقي وتأبى في الهوى قربي فتب مما جنيت عسى تعود إلى رضا الرب تعود إلى رضا الرب.